Hello everyone, welcome again. In this Jira Cloud tutorial, we are going to learn about sprint report in Jira. Now before I get into the sprint report and reporting section, let me cover a little bit detail about the sprint. So in the Scrum development approach, we follow sprints or iterations, which is basically 2 to 4 weeks timeline, in which you pick up the work item, which is basically user stories or other tasks. For example, you can pick defects as well to be fixed. You work on those work items, and as a development team, you deliver the working software by end of the sprint. So there is a planning part involved in it, right? So say for example, I'm using Jira. This is my particular project. What I'll do is to plan the particular sprint, I'll go into the backlog and I'll have, as a team, we'll have a discussion and we'll pick the work items that we need to basically deliver in this particular sprint. Say for example, sample sprint 4 is the sprint that we are planning for now. So we have picked as a team, we have picked these 5 items with the story points that are being allocated to these work items in this particular sprint. Now once the whole team is okay, we can start the sprint. Right, so let me start the sprint, and here by default the duration is 2 weeks, so let me keep it as is 2 weeks, which is most widely used timeline in Scrum. So once the sprint is started, then the sprint report comes in picture, and you can actively monitor how the work is progressing by going through the sprint report. Now we have started the sprint. Now let's go ahead and go back to the reports and see the sprint report for this particular sprint. So if I go to the sprint report and we'll browse through this particular sprint. So for example, sample sprint 4 is the current sprint at the moment, right? So here you can see that the total points that we have planned as a team is 32. Okay, and if I scroll down here, the story points for all these 5 work items that we have picked in this particular sprint is basically 32. So these are the story points that are displayed for these work items. Now because this is basically the first day of the sprint, now you are seeing the weekends here, because today is Sunday and I have planned the sprint today, just to explain you. But ideally what will happen is you will start a sprint from Monday, right, from the working day. So you will plan the sprint on that particular day, you will start the sprint, and then you will have the story points shown that you have picked in that particular sprint in the y-axis. So story points will be displayed on the y-axis, and then you will have this graph shown. This is basically the perfect graph for the burn down chart for the sprint, but ideally it doesn't happen like that. So usually when, say for example, tomorrow the team or today itself, if we have planned today, so today itself team starts working, and tomorrow somebody comes in and they close a work item. Say for example, this story is being completed and closed tomorrow. So SSPA1, if it gets completed, then I'll see the burn down chart being reflected here, and the work item, this work item will be also updated. So let me quickly complete it. This is not this will automatically reflect in the report. So if I simply go ahead and make it as done and go to the reports again, then this item will be shown as completed, and the story points against this particular work item will be basically claimed, right? So here if I change it to sprint 4, you can see that directly on the same day itself we had planned 32 and 5 points got claimed, or basically the work item itself got completed on the same day as we started the sprint. So which is highly unlikely in the actual scenarios, but this is just to show you how the sprint burn down or the sprint report will look like. So in the ideal scenario, or in the actual scenario, when you start working, you plan the sprint, and then 1 or 2 days down the line you will claim a couple of points. Say for example, I worked on a couple of work items and I claimed 2 points on the next day. So the burn down chart will come like this, and then again on the next day I claimed 3 more points, and then the burn down chart will again come along this particular line. So this is how, the work items. So from 32 points, the ideal scenario is to basically claim all the points by end of the sprint, which is after 2 weeks. So after each day, if your team is tracking or maintaining the Jira hygiene, then definitely you will get a lot better sprint report. And once you see the report, say for example 5 or 4 days down the line of the sprint, you see the report and you see that none of the work items have been completed, then you know that there is something wrong within the sprint, or there are some blockers which are not being addressed, right? So as far as the team is progressing, claiming the points that are assigned and the stories are being closed, then you will see this perfect graph coming down for the sprint report. And just by seeing at this particular sprint report, you will be able to understand what's going on within the team, and if required, as a scrum master or project manager, you will be able to help the team to remove the blocker and progress properly to achieve the sprint goal, right? So this is the whole purpose of sprint goal. This graph is not perfect, I know, but in the actual scenario, you will be, moving further and claiming the points, and the graph will, this red line will follow almost similar to this gray line. So this is the gray one is the guideline basically that's shown, and then red will be the actual remaining values for the sprint, for the story points that you have picked in this particular sprint. All right, so this is a brief about the sprint report. And sprint report, if you read at the top, this gives a very brief understanding about the sprint report, that you can understand the work completed or pushed back in the backlog in each sprint. So this, but just by seeing this sprint report, you will be able to see how many work items have been completed, how many work items are not completed by end of the sprint or within the sprint, and then will help you to determine whether, say for example, in next 3 sprints, your team took 5 tasks and in each sprint they are not able to complete, more than 3 tasks. Then you know that your team is overcommitting and they are not able to achieve what they are committing. So this report over the period of time gives you a lot of information about the team, what their capacity is, whether they are overcommitting and not able to deliver. So this is very important report if you are doing Scrum, and to keep an eye on the sprint report within the sprints is the key to success of your project. So that's all for this particular sprint report tutorial. Hope you like it. If you want to cover, if you want me to cover any other reports that you see on the Jira instance, please do comment in the section below, and I'll try to make new videos for the reports that you mentioned in the comments. So that's all for this tutorial. Hope you like it. Thank you very much for watching.